Yeah,
आज
they
मेरे
have lots
यार
of
की शादी है,
lights.
आज मेरे यार की शादी है.
Yeah, they block the streets in India. Hi, welcome to the Invisible India podcast.
Hey, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Abhishek.
Today's topic, we are going to be talking about 10 unique things about Indian weddings. Why do we pick 10?
Because why?
It's our 10-year anniversary this year.
That's right. That's why we have.
So we're going to name 10 things that are unique about Indian weddings. This doesn't mean that these are all the unique things about Indian weddings. It doesn't mean that this is inclusive of every people group, every tradition that's ever taken place in an Indian wedding. There's a lot that we're going to miss, but these are 10 things that for us stand out that we think people need to hear about that are just totally unique about
Probably
Indian
mostly applies to North Indian weddings, probably, mostly. But India is a very diverse country, so we don't know where it applies. So don't feel offended if it doesn't apply to your culture or your. But this is a generic North Indian culture that we're going to refer to. So
Yeah. So number one, awesome, unique thing about Indian weddings, the formalities. What kind of formalities? What are some interesting formalities?
It starts with an invitation card, wedding card. So the wedding card looks festive. It is not a simple just invitation, but it has like Sanskrit mantras. It may have a pratima of one of the gods, goddesses. And it is sort of very, what do you call it?
Elaborate. Festive.
It
looks
glittery.
Like a menu from a restaurant. Yeah. Sometimes you get this like box.
Right.
And you open it and there's just...
It's getting fancier and fancier over the years.
Yeah. And it has to be hand delivered for most people. It's like nowadays it's hard if people live everywhere. But if you live anywhere within a couple of hours radius, it's the proper thing for someone from the family to go and actually hand deliver the card to you as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big formality. I mean, we're not even going to talk about all the formalities that go into arranging a marriage or...
Mostly done by not bride and groom, but their parents or other family members.
Yeah, the formalities. Yeah.
Yep.
So number two, awesome, unique thing about Indian weddings, the clothes, the wear, the design, the dress. My goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is a very diverse kind of topic we could talk about. There's so many different designs depending on your religious background or your people group or even your like socioeconomic status. But we all know that you look at an Indian wedding or a photo of a wedding and you can tell that it's an Indian wedding by looking at the photos.
Right.
By the clothes. It's very unique. The lehenga, the sari, the sherwani for the men or for kurta pajama for in some weddings in South India you wear dhoti and men are shirtless. Clothes. Yeah, and some people wear Western clothes too. Totally right. Suit.
Men wear Western clothes, suit and tie and all of that. Or you mix it up.
Yeah, and some Indian and nowadays it depends on the background of the bride and groom. You could wear a gown, like a bridal gown. But for a lot of Indian weddings, we know, the elaborate, gorgeous dresses that can cost, lakhs and lakhs of rupees. It's like hundreds of thousands of rupees. And putting a lot of effort into your look, the jewelry, the clothes for a bride is like, people spend years thinking about this.
Right.
So, anything to add on that?
No. I think some of the other things might be just similar to the Western wedding, like beauty salons, and people go to salons, and men also go to like a hair place to get their hair done and all that before the wedding, and
Number 3, mehendi or henna. A bride's mehendi or henna is very unique to Indian weddings, although they have different kinds of henna in the Middle East and even in parts of Northern Africa and probably so many other places that we can't even mention. But in almost all Indian weddings across religions, people do the tradition of mehendi. And if you hire someone professional, I mean, this can take hours. It can cover most of your hands, and you usually put on your feet as well. And even in some weddings, men do it too. So it's just a beautification process of the bride. And you're supposed to really be able to tell who the bride is by her.
Right. And a few days earlier, there's a turmeric ritual where men and women have like turmeric put on their skin. Not sure why. Maybe for beautification, for antiseptic purposes. I'm not sure. So yeah.
Next one, unique to Indian weddings, is the Barat.
So what is a Barat?
A Barat is when the groom's near, dear friends and family accompany him right before the wedding, the marriage is going to take place. So a lot of times this will be with a band or with music, and in traditional settings, the groom would ride on a white horse. So in our wedding, we used my dad's white Spitfire, 1971 Spitfire, I believe, and it was white. And so Abhishek rode in that, and then friends and family, danced down the road with the groom to kind of like announce the coming of the groom. And that's right before you enter into the place where the marriage is going to be taking place.
Mm-hmm. And the right pronunciation for that word is Barat. So yeah,
Barat.
That's Barat.
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 So next is, with the Barat, is dancing. Indian weddings, most Indian weddings, many Indian weddings, again, it depends on your background and your family background, but dancing is an important part of a lot of Indian weddings. And this includes everyone. One of the things that struck me when I first moved to India, when I first started attending events, was how people could be really bad dancers, but still not care.
Yeah.
Old people, young people, really, I don't know, at least in like white American culture, if you're a really bad dancer, you typically don't dance. It's too embarrassing. Or if you have certain body types with which people often like shame as, not attractive, then like you don't want to like go out there and dance because people will make fun of you. But like in Indian weddings, it doesn't matter. Everybody dances, old, young.
Yeah. Is expressing joy and delight rather than anything else.
And it's not for entertainment for other people. It's
right.
like expressing your own happiness.
Right. It is not for entertainment purposes. Mm-hmm. That's true. For Barat especially. Now, yeah, there are weddings, in Indian weddings, that employ people into like artists. My cousin's wedding,
that's right.
There were Irish dancers, and there was a Bhangra group.
They had a belly dancer too, right?
They had a belly dancer, which was a little bit later on. We were like, oh, okay. But yeah, like our friend also plays for different weddings in Toronto. If you're in Toronto area, our friend who is a very accomplished sitar player, he plays at weddings as well. So if you want to know about them, let us know. So,
put in the comments.
Yeah.
Next one, which is probably the biggest and most unique thing about Indian weddings, is the amount of family involvement that goes in to planning and participating in a wedding.
Family involvement. Yeah, it's mostly family involvement. Maybe in the West, it is a lot more groom or bride have some say into it. But more in India and rural you go, less say bride and groom have anything to do with the wedding. Like basically they just show up and everything is done for them. And they don't really have a lot of preferences of doing this or that. So generally that's what is probably true. So
right, that's true. That's a good point. And, like we said, there's so much diversity. Indian culture is not one thing. There are like so many cultures within India. So this is going to look different everywhere. But this is just to enjoy and mention a few things that we've noticed. Extravagance is another one. So I think you'll notice that per someone's income or per someone's ability to spend, that they kind of go to the top with that. They go to like the maximum. It's a very like maximalistic culture in weddings.
Did you guys hear about what happened at the wedding in Mumbai? Was that in Mumbai?
What wedding in Mumbai?
The Reliance people's weddings. Ambani's weddings. People were flown in from America, celebrities.
Beyonce performed at their wedding. Beyonce
performed at the wedding. Yeah. He's like the 10 most richest people in the world.
10 most richest people in the world.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's one example. And again, and it doesn't matter. I mean, even if you're a poor person or someone who doesn't have a lot, you still spend a ton of money on a wedding.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
And if that doesn't include dowry. I mean, I think dowry can drive the total cost up, which is illegal to do in India, but it happens all the time. So
that's right. Next one, tradition.
Tradition.
Indians are known for their traditions.
So what about traditions when it comes to weddings? The elaborate traditions? You mean the stuff that happens at the event? Is that what you mean?
Sure. Yeah, okay. I think so. I mean, there's surrounding everything about weddings. There's traditions for every single thing.
It's a multi-day affair generally. Yeah. Traditions get in there, and then the actual service itself is could be all night long or all day long or half day long. So yeah, the traditions are important, and they're in all the sanskars, we call them sanskar, ceremonies of life. There's elaborate tradition or rituals involved. And that's what makes it serious and gives it meaning and gives it sort of seal of new things starting. It is an initiation into a new phase of life. May that be death, may that be birth, may that be marriage, or So that's what I gather.
Do you think that there's romance in Indian weddings?
Romance in Indian weddings, like at the event.
How do you think that's incorporated?
In India, if it's an arranged marriage, arranged wedding, I think things are changing slight bit. But generally, traditionally, girl is supposed to have a very serious face, not smiling, not laughing. You're not supposed to show a lot of happiness or joy.
You're leaving your family forever.
You're leaving your family, especially for the girl. It's very much like one-sided type of thing. The guy's family can empathize with that generally, oh yeah, poor girl, she's coming with us now, that kind of thing. But it is supposed to be tradition. Even some might call that tradition of girl not being too happy or joyful or excited at her own wedding. Somber, serious. So there's that. But in America, it's different. What I noticed, because girl and boy generally know each other from before, have had a dating relationship, and parents also are used to seeing boys and girls together and interacting. So I think it's a little bit different. So I don't expect it to be. They usually know kissing in the ceremony, you'll kiss now, you can kiss the bride. That would totally undo a Hindu wedding. So
Hindu wedding, Muslim wedding. In Muslim weddings, a lot of times the bride and groom are not even in the same room. It's like kabul hai,
Jewish weddings also like that.
But I have seen in Hindu wedding and Christian wedding, it's the only time that a bride and groom are really supposed to touch each other in public is at their wedding. It's okay, hold the hands, and then they're holding hands, getting their picture taken. And so there's a little sprinkle of romance in there, oh, look at how cute they are, or they're hold hands and get their picture very stiffly. So that happens. I think that's sprinkled in there a little bit.
Yeah. And now it's changing with the times. Now they do a lot of photo sessions, photographers are doing photo sessions in urban weddings where they might look a lot more romantic and all
looking at each other.
Yeah, they do that. So.
Yeah.
But it's changing very slowly still. So
the last one, which is something very unique and special in Indian weddings, is the proper goodbye. The bride to her family. It's vidai. Tell us about it.
I know generally in our regions it happens in the morning time or in the middle of the night when the ceremonies have taken place and multiple gift givings and all of that, and giving of food and gifts and all kinds of things in a baskets, and people will give it, and you will load your car with those things. And it's just not just like bride and groom; it's groom's family.
Family
And
involvement.
I mean, you're basically taking the bride to your own house. You're not going to a honeymoon or a hotel or anything. Generally, you're going to sasural. Basically, you're going to your in-laws'
In-laws.
house. So basically, that's what happened. Generally, you get in a car. Generally, always Vidai is in a car because it's not in a horse. You come on a Barat, on a
The
horse.
old
but
day
you-
on the palki, they used to have to.
yeah, basically they release the band that day itself. After the Barat arrived, the band is gone. It's like a band, these things, Barat band. I don't know if many of you have seen that, but it is something, an Indian thing. In America, what I've seen, or in Canada, what I've seen is Punjabi dole is what they're used in Barat. And if you want to contact people, there are people in Chicago, New York, and Toronto, everywhere.
Major city.
There are dole players. You
in
call them, and they will
North
just
America.
accompany you in the Barat. But yeah, but there are like these dedicated Barat. There's a dedicated Barat band businesses in India that accompany you, and they can be very elaborate and very cheesy and very, I don't know, very tacky sometimes. But they are very festive too.
Kai ke paan banaras wala tik tik.
Yeah,
Aaj
they have
mere
lots
yaar
of
ki shaadi
lights.
hai. Aaj mere yaar ki shaadi hai.
Yeah, they block the streets in India. There are no protocols, city protocols generally follow. They're just blocking. random-
Gajrare, gajrare, gajrare. And it's like really, 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 really loud, and like blaring. You can hear it for
The
kilometers and
loudspeakers are not very
kilometers. Like
good.
one good thing about COVID-19, it's not a good thing actually, but is that we're all sleeping very peacefully because there are no weddings happening.
Right.
By our house, there are 3 wedding halls,
Yeah.
just tuk 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 right next to every night.
And that we
For
say
months.
only
Tuk
because
tuk tuk
yeah.
tuk 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 tuk. Aaj mere yaar ki shaadi hai.
I mean, there's supposed to be laws against loud noises, but they're not followed in India.
Yeah.
At least in our parts of India. So, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So this is just a few things that we wanted to highlight that we enjoy and think are really unique about Indian weddings in general. Leave your comments for us. We would love to hear from you about some things that you enjoy. If you're Indian, if you're just someone who appreciates Indian culture from an outside perspective, comment. Let us know what you think. You can also write to us. You can write to me, Jessica, at invisibleindiapodcast.com. Make sure and check out our new shiny website, invisibleindiapodcast.com. You can contact us. You can see pictures and more information of us, links to all of our social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We were on TikTok until India banned that, so that you can watch our TikToks, but we're not making any new TikToks right now. So, yeah, reach out to us. Of course, you can subscribe to our podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google, JioSaavn, anywhere podcasts are found, you can find us.
Yeah, and let us know what your experiences have been with weddings, Indian weddings. Share with us whatever you want.
Yeah.
All right.
Check out our social media. Actually, we're going to be sharing pictures from our wedding 10 years ago from 2010 and how we incorporated some of these unique things into our cross-cultural marriage. So, ठीक है? Namaste. Thank you सबको सुनने के लिए. Appreciate it.
Bye.